Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Progress. Welcome to the raw and realistic approach. It has been a long while since we last did this podcast. It has been years, but I'm very happy that we are here now. Because the last day I did my podcast, I told myself that if I would do this again, it has to be better. That has been the reason that I took a break from podcasting for a while. That and many other reasons, but today we decided to bring it back, and I'm coming back with none other than my friend Edward. You understand that he's the first guy that put me on podcasting. Edward, how far?
Yeah. Man.
So
It feels like a full circle moment now.
Yeah. So I remember when we did when we met in NYC camp. So, and I saw him. I was like, who is this Botti guy? He was just moving Botti because you can tell from the way somebody that this person is Botti. I was like, who is this guy? So,
Boy.
so when he was moving around in camp, a lot of people were giving him macho man respect. But I was looking at him. I was like, I know who you are. I know who you are. So when we met, we talked, yeah, and he told me he came from China, he schooled in China, and I was like, yes, I knew there was something Botti, like there was something Botti about you. You're not just an average Nigerian here. So, but since then, he put me on podcasting on Anchor. Anchor?
Yeah.
And
then the idea was just to talk shit.
Yeah.
Just express yourself.
Yeah.
For you, just a place to go and spew all your opinions. And the podcasting culture has become a
much
bigger,
broader than since then. It has become
there's niches now. There's everything.
It has become a full-blown business. Then we were just doing it with our phone,
Bro.
and just our phone speaker.
Yeah,
you were holding it like this. You'll be talking to the speaker, and that time when I go to Anchor, I'll see a lot of unprofessionals like me, and I was like,
this
is
it.
it.
Just go and just talk. I remember. I think the podcast I did then that I really, really enjoyed was when Kobe Bryant died. And I just pressed record and I was just talking. And before I know what was happening, I've been talking for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Talking for 40 minutes.
You don't know when the time is flying.
You're just expressing yourself. And I'm glad at least we were able to come down to this time and make this happen like this.
Yeah.
It's a full circle moment.
When I used to do the podcast back then, people would be texting me and be like, do the video. And my man would be like, do these people think video is easy? You think video is just wake up one morning and just go and do video? Even this one we are doing, we know what we did to be here. So then and I think then when I was seeing other people's podcasts, I started around when my podcast peak started was 2020 during that COVID time. So I was doing podcasts. During that time I was recording every day.
Yeah, you even used to be more meticulous about it. You used to write your points out.
Bro.
You put a lot of effort.
Bro. You will not know if you heard the podcast. You will not know how much effort I actually put into it, because it's then I actually learned I was a perfectionist, because I thought being a perfectionist is when you want everything to be good and right. Yeah. You understand? But then I just found out it's you wanting it to be what you want to the dots. Yeah. You know, because when I will do a whole episode, then I'll listen to it, I'll hear one blunder and I'll be like, then I'll record everything. I'll record everything. At that time I will get a room to myself and I will just write all the topics down and record it in the middle of the night, sometimes in the middle of the day when everywhere is calm. Then I will be recording, I'll hear one car, I'll be like, one. Then I'll hear another one. I'll be like, we have to do this again. So I would, before I won't release one episode, I've probably done 3 or 4 times. Yeah. And that's an episode of 30 minutes, or even some cases 1 hour, and you just need doing it every time. And
I think mine was a little different. I think for me it was more fun. Fun was the entire thing for me. I was just having fun, and for me the fun in it was in just expressing myself, you know, as it was just go. And I don't even know how I did that thing by myself. Like, you just press record and you just stay by yourself and you just keep dissecting the subject, and the subject keeps opening up,
getting
Getting broader, and you're still talking about it, and then you even start discovering things about the subject in real time. And then that was just the fun in it for me. Well, I'm glad we are here now, and we've come here for a reason. You know, this creative garden has brought us. So first of all, let's start with creative. What's creative garden?
Creative garden, because this all started when I wanted to write a book. So the first book, the first 10 years of Forever, my first book that is coming out 30th of January.
30th of January.
Yeah, so like that started with it. And just even to think of it, podcast was also influenced my book, because now my book I've talked about it. I did an episode where I just told a story. I think trying hard to get love or something like that. So I wrote that. So then later on, I just looked at that story. I'm like, okay, this story can be converted to a book. Yeah. So, but it needed more work. So that's how I started writing the book and doing everything. It was hard, but it took a lot of discipline. Some days I'll be like, today I'm writing 500 words. Then the other day today I'm writing 400 words. And just like that, it kept compounding to go a book. Then when I got the book and finished writing this thing that I will read, and I'll feel like, oh, this is so, oh God, this is so good. You know, you're already biased to your work. Yeah. So I finished doing it and I gave it to this editor. The editor read it and was like, what is this? What is this? This editor just looked down on it and didn't give me the reaction I wanted. Then after he finished doing his work, he gave it to me and told me, okay, this book is actually very good. It has a very huge potential here. You can do something here. Then I went to another editor. The person first of all treated like, is this thing? I've seen a lot of books. Then at the end, they will tell you that this thing has a lot of potential. But when you get all those things and you want to publish it, you send it to a lot of publishing houses. You send it to, and they will just ignore you. And not ignoring you because you are bad, but just because I think they have a lot of work on their hand and they get a lot of books. And they don't know, they just probably look at your own and just put it by the side. So, and I just felt there were a lot of people there that had books and had creative works. They are poets, because there are people like this. You just go to their profile, you see poets. They really mean that, and they write down poems and they put it out there, and you know. So I just felt just to create that creative hub or that creative place where creativity can be inspired and most importantly monetized. You know, these poem things, like now we are working on a site where poets can post their poem and they will be tipped. So this is just you putting a poem out there and someone reading it. I'm like, okay, they can tip you as low as 500 naira. Just tip, you understand? So, and you can even go higher there. So we are working on that. We are creating hub for like selling scripts. You can just get that your manuscript or screenplay, because the first thing I wrote was a screenplay, and you cannot just sell it. You will just hold that creative. You have to pray. Hey, you cannot just say. So you're just creating that hub where to push that gap to help to creativity in Africa to thrive. You know, because I believe there are a lot of creative voices. There are a lot of people that have creativity, that breathe and live and drink creativity, but they don't have anywhere to monetize it. They don't have anyone that appreciates it. So that's why Creative Garden was born, to monetize, appreciate, and reward creativity in Africa.
Nice. Okay, so what is the objective? You've said what the objective is. I mean, like long-term goals for creative. Where do you see Creative Garden in the next couple of years? Not even in like 10 years time. Okay. 2 years, 5 years. Where do you see Creative Garden going?
I see it as a driving force in creativity, because even as of now, we are doing this whole thing. There's a lot of expenses we are putting in, and I'm not doing it from a sense of I'm doing this thing to get the money back. I'm doing it just to build the infrastructure and just offer that value to anyone that is willing. Now we have people mailing, like even the mail, we have up to close to 500 mails of people mailing me their poems or mailing us their poems at Creative Garden. And when you just put it out there, you are seeing that a lot of people are creative and they have this word, they have these talents, you know. So it's just to be putting that value, and in every form, ever not being stagnant, not being rigid, but being fluid to be in that field, money helping creativity thrive. And as time goes, you might not where I will see myself in the next 5 years in this field will be very different than I imagine, because you don't know the way you will have to build or bend to just get this thing, evolve. You don't really have to evolve to get this thing really working. But I know it's going to take a lot of resources, but it's not done primarily just for me to make money or to become rich or something. Money is not even the question, but the main thing is just offer that value. And for those creatives you're targeting to recognize that, okay, I am here and I'm here to actually offer this value. I am here to solve this problem, so we can join hand as a community and tackle it. So I really have high hopes. It's just like putting a price on creativity. Like creativity is literally everything.
Yeah.
So what will you now? Where will creativity be in the next 5 years?
Yeah.
Anywhere it is, Creative Garden is there. Monetizing it.
So you intend to stretch Creative Garden to include other creatives too that are not necessarily in the arena of being creative with words, other forms of creativity too.
Yes.
Like say painters, photographers. Is that part of the plan for Creative Garden?
Yes, that's definitely part of the plan, because like I said, everything creative. But for now, we're doing writers because I feel those are the most starving. They are starving the most.
People
and there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people there. But I think as it gets bigger, because we have in the Creative Garden, the site we're building, we have a section for poets of our time. That's for poets. We have for writers, which is that screenplay and manuscript to sell it. We have for arts, those that paint, those that are a creative place for art where you can sell a digital art gallery and this thing. We are planning to even include sculptures and sculptures and all these other things. I'm even thinking of even teaching courses and online courses, just a hub that has all those things. But as we are going now, we are going to start with the ones that we can get our hand on, and we'll just be going. But it's not small. It's going to be getting bigger to
keep
expanding and accommodating all types of.
As you said, you don't know how you will need to bend.
I don't know how I need to evolve, but I'm willing. I'm fluid.
Just see how
I'm
it
fluid
goes,
enough
fill it out.
To get there.
That's nice. All right, so let's really back in. This conversation can get very, very out of pocket. So we'll start with this first book, 10 Years of Forever. So can you give us like a brief overview of what this book is talking about?
This book, 10 Years Forever, it's a emotional piece, or an emotional piece that touches trauma, belief, identity. I'm saying these things. This is not the arc of the story, but me, when I'm writing, I try to bring out the emotion, the topics, the landing points of where I want to go to before getting the story full together. So the emotion, the big topics, the big elephants in the rooms are the ones I target first before landing into the story. So 10 Years of Forever is a book about love, about identity, about trauma, sexuality. There are a lot of things it covers. It follows two people, Ifechukwu and Angela. So in this book, it goes through that perspective. You see life from the perspective of Angela. You see life from the perspective of Ifechukwu, that have different lives, different wars, different troubles that they are battling with, different problems they are battling with and everything. So it follows them down to when they get to secondary school. They are still in there, and it tackles all the problems of secondary schools, and it goes down to when they meet in university and everything. I don't want to give the full. I don't give up the whole story about the book. It follows throughout that two people. You are seeing it from two perspectives till those two people meet and now see what it turns to. It deals, most importantly, grief. It touches on grief too. It touches on trauma, grief, sexuality, identity, religion. Like in those topics, because just based on this podcast we're doing, raw and realistic approach. In the book too, I went raw. and realistic. Those hard topics, those topics that some people don't want to touch because they feel it might be controversial.
Sensitive,
I
yeah.
just jump inside it with my I jump inside it and I'm like, bro, we are here, we're talking about it. So I'm tackling boldly, because that's a review I got, that I'm tackling to those big the problems or those big subjects, exactly, those big subjects boldly, picking a side and just showing what it is. It even talks about abortion. It talks about a lot of things. So it's a coming of age novel. So and I feel anybody from I've gone to secondary school will relate to it. Anybody that's in university will relate to it. From 14 to like 38, those are my range. Those are the people that I feel that will get, because if you have just been in there, you have been in a relationship, if you have been even with having family problems too, you will relate to the book.
Okay, sounds like you covered all the bases.
Yeah, I was touching everything.
Okay, so the second book. Tell us about the second book.
We were just talking about this book, and I was just thinking I will also have a second book, because that's the thing there. Because someone might be seeing me put out a book and I'll be like, okay, is this a book? Or is this putting out a book of maybe it's a passion project, maybe it's a first time, but I'm in here because as we have this first one, the second one is already done. It's just about to be getting, that's Forbidden, The Apprentice and the Forbidden Knowledge. So that one heads into philosophy, goes into manipulation, goes into power. Personally, I don't want to say it's my best work because I'm promoting other books, so let's just leave that one. This first one is more emotional and more, it's more emotional, while the other one is more psychological and philosophical. So the idea of the third one is already there. The idea of the fourth one is already there. Like, we are here. Show off, why don't you? So it is in my body, it is there, and I'm willing, and I'm very happy that I will be doing, because as I do this one, I'm still aiming higher, and I feel that in 5 years I should have 5 books. Okay. And it's all fiction. I don't write any other, it's fiction. I hear people saying reality is stranger than fiction. I'm like, that's for people that don't know how to imagine. If you know how to imagine, there's no how reality is crazier than like, bro, have you seen imagination? Bro, it can go anyway, but reality really has a box that some laws apply. In fiction,
there's no law.
And even though if you have to make those laws make sense, so if we are making any law,
you can bend,
you can still bend. It's very fluid. You understand?
All right,
someone can die in fiction and I bring it back, but in reality, if the person died, which other strange thing?
Shout out to George R. R. Martin, Game of Thrones. Okay, so I want to pivot a little. I want to ask you, Idebodi, as you have said, you really like writing, you really enjoy writing, you enjoy putting these imaginations of yours into words that people can read and learn something from. So I'd like to ask, who are those authors that you read, either in the past or you just discovered, that you kind of not necessarily tailor your craft after, but you draw inspiration from those people? Okay.
First of all, you will say something that the writing, the body, like the writing is not in the body. It's the creative, the imagination, the story. The story is already in the head, like in my head, like I can.
It's about bringing.
But that writing is very stressful because I had to discipline myself. Like I was telling you earlier, that 400 words today. Some days I'll be like, okay, today I'll write 700 words. And if I write 700 words, I'll buy myself a drink. And I just use those things and just try to write someone just to buy myself a drink. I'll use some pleasures, some guilty pleasures.
To
encourage myself to.
So you nobody know.
Yeah, it's not easy. It takes almost a year for you to do this thing. And I did everything on my phone. I didn't use laptop it was just docs and on the distance. So, and for the authors that I've read Stephen King, and I think it's just the idea of him having a lot of books that have turned into movies that motivates me a lot, because someone will see me, I'm talking about writing, and they think my main goal is writing. Wrong. It's movies. I'm aiming like Netflix, we are coming. Like, it's just having those, because my books, they are visual, and if you look at them, it's something that can easily be adapted into a movie or something. So that's when I have like 5, like Stephen King's. Like, you he has like 10 plenty novels, and a lot of them have turned into movies.
Different types of
is
stories,
different types of, so it's just I would
everything.
say it's Stephen King, and there are some other authors I've read that I don't know their name, like Stream of Vengeance. I've read that Stream of Vengeance is a novel back then, and the author, I don't know the name, but the author also the author also inspired me, the book. And Oliver Twist was one of them too.
Who was that?
Chike and the River.
Okay.
Those ones are some of those books they give us.
Yeah.
Those books they give us in secondary school
Yeah.
to read. But I read them, and I read them very well. Like Streams of Vengeance, I read them very well, and it's very influential to me.
Okay. So African authors that I was halfway. I was going to say I was thinking you were going to mention Chimamanda. Because she has this book. I don't know if you've read it before. The book is called Americana.
Yeah.
Where it follows it's something similar to this, where it follows two different people, two different paths. They meet, they separate, go different paths, and then come back again somewhere along the line. I thought you've not read that.
No,
before.
I've read half of A Yellow Sun.
No.
Americana, but I've seen it.
You've seen it.
Because Chimamanda is like one of the biggest.
Everybody's calling their child
everybody.
Chimamanda because of
so everybody, like, she's not someone you cannot. She's hard to ignore. If you don't even meet her in book, you hear her music. So
she's even in the movie business.
yeah. So like, there's half of Yellow Sun. I've read it, and not much. I'm not the. Will I call it the conch reader of like. I'm packing a lot of time every day. I'm reading. You understand? Sometimes I read when I get the book. When I read it, I get stuck like into the book and everything. But I'm not I listen to more of them on audiobooks.
I do that too.
So I'm not to get that time, especially with the business I'm in and the work I have doing. To always get that time to read has been not been the best. They have not been easiest for me, so I have to find time and just go to audio. Sometimes I just go on YouTube, and there are some pages on YouTube that they will summarize and explain the story, and you just get the whole thing.
Our attention span is cooked.
So I actually read. I read a lot too, but it's not to that level. I've seen people read, and they like in a month they're reading 4 books. On definitely not me. Definitely not me.
Okay, so I would also like to ask for you to books that are not yours, probably African or whatever, really. Top 3 books you recommend for any and everybody.
Okay. Streams of Vengeance.
Jesus Christ, here we go again. We have to find the author of that book. We have to find the author of that book.
I have to.
No, I'm serious. We need to find the author of that. We need to know his name so that
now there are some I read too that are not fiction. As much as I like fiction, but I don't read only fiction. So there are the How to Win Friends and Influence People. The Richest Man in Babylon is there too. So, but that's Streams of Vengeance. I would have said Chicken and River, but that one I think is a very small. But all those stories, that's how powerful a story is. It might look small, but if you just get it and you feel the story,
story shape perspective.
It's very story is a weapon.
It is a weapon, a very strong weapon.
If you wield it very well, that's one thing. That's one of these politicians can meet us and tell us, let's organize an agenda. If I cook one proper agenda for you like this, conspiracy theories to just eat it up. So like I think story. That's one thing that made me feel that this part of me I will keep on doing it, because being a storyteller is powerful. You can shape worlds. You can build worlds. You can also destroy them. So.
Okay, so we are going to link storytelling with podcasting.
Yeah.
We're going to go back, pivot. Not pivot. This is not pivoting. This is just
It's
really
still
back.
the
It's still the same thing. So how are those two things connected for you?
Okay, for me, podcasting was the first step, because when I was doing all this, when I started podcasting, it was still I saw it as a creative leak. I knew that I have a lot of creativity in me. I knew I had all this story. I knew I see things from different perspectives. My dad just say, bro, the way you understand things is just out of the world. He says it both as a criticism, but also as this is what you are. But that's a very strong superpower for me, because when some people see something, I see the funny way, I see the way you can make it extreme, I see all the ways just showing my front, and I'm like, okay, let me pick this way. So it makes you charismatic and everything, but that's having that creativity in me. I knew I had to leak it out. If not, I might just be like a guy that never reached their potential, or never reached what you know you can do. So it started with podcasting, and that's the thing. This book, this 10 Years of Forever, that will be coming out in January, I first talked about it in the podcast. So if I now formulated it to a real book. Then The Apprentice, this my second book, that will be coming out next 2 years. It's already done, but I just want to space it out this year, this year. So they're coming out 2027. A portion of it is in podcast too. So there's one I wrote about, the Limping Scammer, a podcast I did there. If you go there, that's funny time. I still listen to it now. So the Limping Scammer, about manipulation. That didn't want to happen right in my eyes, and I just put it in the book too. So, and the 10 advantages and disadvantages of religion, I took both of them, combined them, then added a lot more.
You like those sensitive
You understand?
topics.
So, those topics that a lot of you don't want to talk about.
Yeah,
I just have a thing for touching it. So the podcast thing too is just that I was doing those things. I was doing it till 2021. I took a bed in 2022, and to an extent, I stopped liking it, because after I put in all this work, like I told you earlier, I'll do like 5 times if I get the one I like. After doing it, and I still post it, and I listen to it, I don't like it. And at the point, I don't like my voice again. My voice is now irritating me.
I completely understand.
You understand? And now I'm now watching other people, and I'm now seeing other people using mics and camera, and I'm like, am I doing this thing now? Am I serious? Because you're not looking like the unserious person. So I was not in that place. I was like,
It's very easy to find what is wrong. That is probably the easiest thing to do in this world. We are looking for what is wrong. It's very, very easy.
So it was hard for me then, because I was putting out something, and I'm now even criticizing the thing, and I'm now feeling like I'm not doing well. I'm not even doing it with proper mics. It's not sounding as high quality as some people were doing at that time. But the funny thing is that I was getting recognition, like from different countries. People were listening, and at the end of the day, they'll tell me the people from US, people from Canada, people from Iran,
people you don't even know.
People I don't even know. They were listening to it, but I was berate. I was like, I can't. It's either I take this thing serious, or I just go and do other things with my time, because it's actually consuming time. It's consuming time for me to do it.
It is.
And I just said, and I didn't. I said the next time I would do it, I have to do it proper. I will not. I'm going to take a break, and anytime I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to do it in a proper way. I'm not more going to do it that way. And that's when I stopped, took a break, and since then I got married. I had a child.
Congratulations, my friend.
So a lot of things just happened. So everything, the podcast just faded back in the background. I still look back and I'm like, what if I actually put in the work and just actually went hard there?
The process of this writing all these things, what is you've said that sometimes you need to encourage yourself, like give yourself a target and then reward yourself. That aside, I mean, like, creatively speaking, what is the most difficult thing about writing a book?
Motivation. Motivation is, like, for you to, especially when you are writing a part that you yourself, you are just writing this part just to get to another part.
Yeah.
You understand? This part is not the interesting bit, but you just still have to write. But that part to get motivation. For me, to write something, I have to be very motivated, and I have to like what I'm writing. So for my second book, that will be coming later on, that one I liked everything, because I was writing about disadvantages and disadvantages of religion. So I liked everything because it felt rebellious to an extent, and it had a lot of satire and everything. So I enjoyed it. This other one, 10 Years of Forever, the one that is coming out in January, I loved it, but there are some places that was hard for me to write, because especially when I was writing about Angela, like I'm not a woman, So I cannot really get
Speak
through
from
that
the
process. But
perspective
I had to stretch, and I'll be like, okay, I hope I'm getting it right.
Did
And
you-
I
did
had
you-
to
did
even
you
send it to
ask
some.
perspective
Yeah, I even
of
sent
people?
the work to some of the female friends that I know that write. So I tell like, okay, look at this and tell me what you think. And they'll be like, oh, you're doing very well. And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? So I think it's motivation, because you can want to write, but just to get yourself to sit one place or to focus on write something, and even put down like 500 words a day. This thing is hard. So.
Okay. Let me follow up with that. Was there any point where the story got away from you, where you had to like physically map it out? Did you experience anything
No,
like
I
that?
think from the beginning, like based on I've already told you, I started with the podcast. So I listened to the podcast, and I already saw the skeleton of like the end, some part of the end, some part of the beginning. So I kind of had a sketch of what I was going to. So just that as you start writing, some of those sketch you have, you're like, okay, this sketch is not good. I have to remove it. This hand I have here is not. This is not.
It's
I
not
think
what
I have
you
to
want
change.
to
No,
do,
let's just change it. So with that sketch, it gives me a lot of guidance, and it gives me a part of motivation, knowing that okay, I already know where I'm going with this. I know the end of this story. So let's just get this middle. Let's give a big build up. Let's set it up to get the distance. So just having for me to even write a story, I have to have the full kind of the sketch of the beginning and where I'm going to.
Where you're going with it.
Then now the fire now come together and
put
put
everything
everything together. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it. I will ask you one question. How was now because you schooled in China now, so now you're here, do you look back and like feel that if they give you opportunity to go back to China, will you take it, or do you feel there's more opportunity in Nigeria?
And that's it. That's a loaded question, bro. That question is loaded. I think in all things, you would always. They say hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
Like, so you would always look back.
2025 now.
No. What I mean is like when you look at something that has already passed, you see it better. You always see. So far, it has passed. You will now see the entire thing. You see everything, and then you be like, okay, you could have done this better. You could have done. So there's always that in everything. So do I look at my time in China and be like, oh yeah, I could have done this, I could have done that? Of course. Do I think being like if I get an opportunity to go back to China now, I don't know. China, I don't know. China is not, in my opinion, China is not exactly immigration friendly. So if you are to go to China, you need to go. I did not know this then, but I have some more experience now in my life. So I feel like if I am to do that again, I'll play it differently. I'll have like a whole plan where you feel like, okay, at the end of 2 years, I'm out of here. So you start planning that 2 years ahead of time, start all these little benchmarks, it's just, I'm older and I'm wiser. So I would approach it differently than I approached it back then.
Let me give you a follow-up question. Do you feel that back then, this buying something for someone that is in Nigeria, do you think would have been a...
So China is big. Yeah. I cannot explain how big China is. China is actually big.
I mean, the billion in population is already...
Yeah. It's big.
Mark.
Like, it's big. So you can have two different people be in two different places in the same China, and those two different people will have completely different experiences.
Yeah.
I can say now that the place I lived in China, I was in northeast. Now, in the entire 4 years I stayed there, I never had an experience of where a policeman would come and stop you and ask you, where are your papers? I never experienced anything like that. Never. Not once did I have a policeman stop you on the road and like, where are your papers? Or you come out 4 o'clock in the morning, you go wherever you want to go to. You know, that was my experience. But there were some other people in some other places that their experience was like, even if you have your passport in your pocket, once you see police, run.
run. Based
on you don't even if your papers are with you is complete, you just don't. They will just unnecessarily make your day tedious. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So China is big. So for the most part, I was not in the south. The south is where all the business happens. Guangzhou, that's where all the business happens. Guangzhou is where the big port is, where all the shipping companies are, all the tech companies, all those things. They are in the south, and I was not there. So my experience was, I was mostly trying not to be in trouble, like making sure, because there's a lot of traps. There's a lot of traps. It is very easy to go there and not achieve your objective for going there. My objective for going there was to get this education. So if I fell short of that, at the time I felt like that would just be bad.
Yeah.
And okay, so I don't know if we have pivoted a little, but just go on. There's I know somebody. I'm not gonna call his name or anything crazy like that, but I know somebody who the government got evidence that he travels a lot. Like, he used to travel. He's in Guangzhou today. He's in Beijing tomorrow. He's in, he used to travel. He used to do this business, buy things for people. He used to travel a lot. And then they came and they were like, no, you are in school. You're not supposed to be traveling a lot. But you're traveling a lot. That's not why you're here. So take this 5-year ban. Go back to your country.
Like, suspend from the school.
Yeah. You suspend your education for 5 years. You're banned from entering China
because you're traveling a lot.
Because you're not here to travel now. You're here in school. So it is very easy to get in trouble.
That's the whole country is a secondary school now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
because they're leaning to that. They're communist now.
Yeah. So like there's a lot of sleeping outside of your dormitory. If you live in the dormitory, sleeping outside your dorm is an offense. But nobody is going to come and be policing you up and down and telling you you're not in your dorm. It's when you get in trouble. Like when maybe you are in the vicinity of where a fight happened, police came, they arrest you. Your first offense will be you are not in your dorm. Then by the time they start building your offenses against you like this, by the time you get they will list 20 offenses you've committed. And then so for me, my reality was like, just keep your head down, get this education, graduate first. And so to some other people, they came and straight off the bat, their priority was like, let's go look for how we'll get this money. So as I said, I'm wiser now, and I think I could have done things differently, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. You can't change the past. You can only use it and modify the future.
I tell you, that's it. That's
it's the thing there. Today, I think we've come to the end of the podcast today.
Yeah.
And it's been very, I've been very nice talking to you.
This is a full
Thank
circle
you
moment,
for coming here with me.
Full circle, yeah.
I'm very happy to be doing this with you, because you are the one that put me on the podcast, P. And as I'm here doing it, this feels like, bro, there are people from our camp seeing us doing this, be like, yo,
what happened in the sharing stays in the sharing.
What happened Oyo State? Oyo Copper. So it was nice time. So the raw and the raw and realistic approach is back, and more is coming. I'm not going to be giving a weekly podcast, but as I've enjoyed this one, we're already done here. So we're going to gradually, we're going to be touching it. We're going to be eating the cake. People outside are going to be eating the cake with us too. So, we are here. You understand? I made a promise that if I'm ever going to do this, I'm going to do this better. And I already know this is better. So that means we're coming back for more. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Because more is coming.
There was no TV before. There's TV now.
There's TV now. Progress, man. Progress.
Oh my God.
Progress, man. So, thank you all. The end.
Peace.